Du lytter til podcasten AI Mennesker.
Kunstig intelligens er jo ekstra hænder, og det kan jo være de der ekstra hænder, som giver dig det ekstra løft i dit arbejde, den mere effektive tilgang til dine arbejdsopgaver, eller måske også hjælpe de steder, hvor der virkelig er behov for det, fordi der måske ikke er de ekstra hænder. Den sidste del, det skal handle om i den her omgang af AI Mennesker. Velkommen til. Jeg hedder David Guldager, og vi skal snakke om Ukraine, og nærmere bestemt de ukrainske flygtninge, som kommer til Danmark. Og der har man simpelthen fået så store arbejdsopgaver, men også har kastet sig over kunstig intelligens. Så man har ikke gjort det bare sådan, du ved, klassisk med, at så kan man spørge kunstig intelligens om det ene eller det andet eller tredje. Nej, man har faktisk fundet en helt konkret person, klonet den her person, kan man sige, mere eller mindre, du forstår mig ret, ind i AI, og så kan man ligesom få personens viden og forståelse og exceptionelle evner til at være en del af kunstig intelligens og kan gøre sig gældende over for de ukrainske flygtninge. Det er det handler om i programmet i dag, og vi kommer tilbage til det lige om lidt. Jeg vil lige hurtigt gøre lidt reklame, og det kan jeg jo godt lide at gøre for AI Savvy. Den her omgang, der vil jeg gøre reklame for vores gratis kursus. Nej, det er også løgn. Det er ikke et gratis kursus. Det kan du lige bande på, det ikke er, for det får du altså ikke lov til. Nej, det er et gratis event. Det er onsdag den 17. juni. Der kan du faktisk have glæde af en god gammel kending, slap af programmet her. Simon Linde, som er blandt andet tekstforfatter og så videre, virkelig dygtig til at arbejde med tekster. Vi har snakket med ham her i AI Mennesker tidligere, og han er altså forbi de her gratis webinarer, vores gratis indsigter, og det kan du se mere om inde på aisavvy.dk, og der kan du tilmelde dig. Det koster dig ikke noget. Der er ikke noget, der bliver kastet i nakken efter dig, hvis ikke du tilmelder dig vores nyhedsbrev, så bare slap af. Det er kvitterfrit, og du kan lytte med den time 9-10 den 17. juni. Så, hallo, hvad venter du på? Nå, hvad venter vi andre på? Vi skal jo også videre. Vi skal da i den grad høre historien fra Ukraine, og det er to, kan man sige, en tidligere flygtning i hvert fald, og en anden ukrainer. Det er Tara og Anton fra Ukraine, og de er ret gode til at fortælle om både den ene og i forhold til det menneskelige tilgang, hvad er arbejdet, og den anden lidt mere teknisk, hvordan er det reelt set, vi har fået de her agenter til at hjælpe over 10.000 flygtninge i Danmark. Og en fascinerende, spændende historie omkring Bevar Ukraine, og jeg synes sådan set bare, at vi skal skyde afsted. Jeg skal lige siges, det er altså en engelsk snak, bare lige så, hvis I skulle være i tvivl. Det var ikke pro-ukrainsk. Nej. Nå, velkommen til AI Mennesker. Thank you, both of you. We're sitting here, 3 people, actually 4 people. Jacob is sitting here next to us, PR person. But thank you guys to have time for meeting me with your, in Danish, Bevar Ukraine. A thing that's really suitable for, of course, the further work, but also for AI using as a volunteer. But we can go into that in a moment. Both of you, could you just introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yep.
Anton, maybe you first.
I can go. So my name is Anton. I'm from Ukraine. I work at AWS for the past 7 years. My role is senior Gen AI sales specialist. I'm based in Copenhagen, and I volunteer for Bevar Ukraine.
All right. Yeah.
My name is Taras. I'm lead operations specialist at Nordic Solar. I'm AI specialist as well, and also volunteer for Bevar Ukraine.
And you just were down and telling what you did here at the summit, right? Could you maybe elaborate for me and as well for the listeners, what is Bevar Ukraine a thing?
Yeah, I can go. So Bevar Ukraine is an NGO organization based in Denmark. It has been founded 12 years ago at the time of the first Russian incursion in Ukraine. So since then, the team of volunteers has been gathering some clothes, some hospital beds, furniture, whatever donation we could get from various organizations in Denmark. and sending this to Ukraine as humanitarian help. And since the war broke out, the full-scale invasion 22, Bevar Ukraine changed in a way that it's helping the refugees in Denmark. With the psychological help, really helping the youth with the something called academy, so helping them to grow and to build their careers. Hopefully, in the end, also coming back to Ukraine and bringing this knowledge to Ukraine. And even if not going back, then still helping Ukraine like we do. So it's a lot of this work is aimed at supporting Ukraine in any way we can.
So I know Bevar Ukraine that's a Danish thing, but are there this kind of thing in every country, or it's just in the Nordics, or so how's that?
Yeah, so Bevar Ukraine is the Danish NGO that is run by both Ukrainians and also some Danes that help us in Denmark. So we help those Ukrainians in Denmark and Ukrainians in Ukraine. And I'm sure there are other organizations like here in Sweden and in many other countries. In Germany, for example, there is over 1 million Ukrainians. So I'm pretty sure that there is also some organizations of Ukrainians that support the refugees there as well.
And your work is about the volunteers coming in and helping. And when the war hit, like you said, in 2022, in February, of course, I guess there was a lot of volunteers helping, needing to help.
Yeah.
Where did you see that we need more people than we can, manage?
Yeah. First, let me take the part with the refugees. So before the war in 22, full-scale invasion started, there were around 12,000 Ukrainians in Denmark. Now it's about 60,000, so over 40,000 that arrived since the war began. So for these over 40,000 people, there simply could not be enough volunteers across Denmark. But we do have around a couple of hundred volunteers that every weekend gather and help send this humanitarian aid, for example. Or like me or Taras, I'm helping as a lecturer also, so I'm coming and educating the youth about the use of AI. So to teach them, I also help those who are looking for the jobs. There are plenty of them that have been various CXO level managers in Ukraine and now are trying to find their role in Denmark and to help Denmark as well. But there is simply not enough of the volunteers. It's simply impossible to find those thousands that have both the knowledge and the time and the language that could help. So that's how we started looking into AI.
And that's where you came in, helping and putting together Victor.
Yes.
Can you tell me, and he's not here, right? It's just so the listener, Victor, who is Victor?
All right. So first of all, I'm refugee myself. So I experienced the whole path that like every person that came to Denmark experienced as a refugee. And I was like the person who had this experience, and basically I had all the troubles that you can find using like current type of bureaucracy. What is Victor? So I joined the core team of Bevar Ukraine, not only as a volunteer. I was a part of the core team for a year and a half. And when I saw the process of people coming, like it was infinite queue of people who came to Victor, real Victor, the person who was helping people every time. And there were enormous amount of people who never saw Victor, who couldn't just find him. So I understood that we need to, in some way, use technology for good. So
let me just, is Victor based on a real?
It is a real person, actually.
Okay.
So it wasn't like just to tribute someone. It was a real person who had over 1,500 people a year. So it's infinite view of people.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm not very fancy with names, and that's why I just called him the way the real person was.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I decided, like, I'm IT specialist. I used to have an IT company there back in Ukraine. So I know the way technology works. So like the idea was like to automate the process, because people come with the same questions, with the same problems, and it would be like much easier if you have a technology that is helping you, because as I mentioned, so like not everyone can get to real Victor. So we decided like to come up with the idea of a chatbot. First of all, it was like a very small chatbot that used like very simple models inside, but later on it just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We understand the problem that if you like use a simple chatbot, it will not work for them, because it's like generic answers for not very clear questions. So then we started to think about how to make it even better. We decided to go with more questions, with synthetic, even generated questions, because people even don't know what they want to ask. They were looking for information. Everything was in Danish. Unfortunately, we don't know Danish, so not all of them know English. And we started to make the translation. We started to build it the way it can respond them in real language, in Ukrainian. Okay, in like the way they couldn't understand. From the other side, we understood that issue is even bigger than just a generic response. It was that they need to be directed in some way. They need to have this path that helps them as first refugees, then people who live in Denmark. So with every time you have a different path that you have, and you need different type of questions. That's why the idea of Victor, who is a real person, was to copy real Victor.
And how did you do that? Were you just sitting down with Victor and ask him thing, or was it just, do like
Both,
Victor?
yeah, as well. Yeah, of course, it was observation, so like business analysis process. So at first it was observation, that I talked to people, I talked to Victor, I asked about like the questions that they had, and it was clear that like most of the questions are standard. You have taxes, you have housing, you have healthcare, and we decided like let's build a few agents that can answer each of them to those questions. And we started to build agents after agents after agents, and you mentioned like 150 agents, and it became actually 150 agents. Everyone is focused on its own domain, and each of those agents know their direction.
So yeah, 150 agents today. Why that many? Why not just one big model or something like that? Is that because it's so difficult to get all the right answers in that kind of way, or?
It's a very philosophical question, honestly. If you would think,
I love that's a philosophical question. But yeah, okay, yeah.
So if you think about like current bureaucracy that is happening right now, so it was built on like the system that was hierarchical. It was very structurized. It was made by German sociologist Max Weber, and it was everything but accessibility. So we basically repeated all those hierarchy, all those domain direction, but we gave one thing, accessibility, when you don't need to wait. The cycle time of answering is seconds, not weeks. From the other side, it speaks your language. And right now, Victor speaks more than 100 languages, and it can help not just refugees, but also students, workers that come to Denmark, temporary workers, like all those people.
Can it understand, local dialects or the local things to, focus on, something like that? Can it be that much micromanagement?
Okay, it's not micromanagement. Yes, it can understand a lot. Dialects is probably the next level of Victor, but he speaks languages. So probably if like the models have dialects inside, so he can answer in dialects. For example, Greenlandish people is like kind of language that not so many native speakers are. So it speaks Greenlandish. it answers them in Greenlandish, and it's absolutely phenomenal because people from Greenland were like writing to us, guys, you did a great job answering us in Greenlandish, even though a lot of them know Danish.
Okay. And so what does it give you an extra pair of arms and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's still, like we said, it's a limited number of the volunteers that we have, right? But even with those volunteers, if, let's say, the AI can do the bulk of job, which is the more repetitive, the less nuanced, then the real people can actually, like Victor himself, who we met today, he can take more complex tasks. He was the happiest person here in the session today because he knows that instead of doing repetitive work over and over again, he runs a project, for example. So his idea is that now that a lot of communes, people in the communes in Denmark have been asking for getting the access to AI, to Victor AI. So he's running this project to promote Victor AI to the communes. So when the people come to the commune, they can always kind of refer them to Victor AI. So it's all about changing the work of the humans in a way that instead of doing repetitive tasks over and over again, really thinking about what else can we do. And then over time here, I think Victor and the other volunteers, they will also find, okay, maybe this becomes now repetitive. Maybe we can actually let AI do this work and move on to the next more complex tasks.
But what about the things you have to be certain about? Security, GDPR, stuff like that. How does, Victor take advantage of those things?
That's all about volunteers that we had. So human in the loop is probably the most important part. That's from the very beginning, we had more than 30 people, volunteers that worked with us. So there were social workers, there were lawyers, there were just volunteers who were eager to help. And this continuous feedback, human feedback, that's actually something that differs us from those proprietary models that are global, and we know they have super knowledge, but this very narrow knowledge, it was verified by real people. That's why they helped us to shape it. They also saw all the risks because they were professionals. We are professionals in IT, and they are professionals in legal part. So they built a GDPR for us, all the things connected to EU Act, AI Act. Yes, and in this case, we were building this, being sure that we have this support.
So what's your take in this? Is this just faster work because you are less volunteer and then you can have the AI do it, or do you see a thing where it actually gets the service better, not because of the technology, but for the refugee coming in? And you said yourself you were a refugee. I guess would it have helped if there were another AI Victor helping? That
would help a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just add that just like in Amazon, so the better service is the speed and the quality. So with the AI, obviously you get a better speed. Like Taras mentioned, it's just really seconds until you get the answer. Instead of you trying to find where you need to go, actually go in there, waiting in the queue, and so on. So really, it's much faster. Then when it comes to quality, and that's back to your question about why 150 agents. It actually has a lot of knowledge, but it's built in such a smart way that via routing used Amazon Bedrock, it goes directly to the specific agent for the specific question and gets specific answer. So that actually both improves the quality of the answer, but also reduces the cost. So instead of looking for all of the places where it can get the answer, it really knows kind of where it gets routed and where this answer will be lying.
Okay. So if other NGOs can, will look at this and say, okay, this sounds amazing. We have a lot of volunteers. We have a lot, you said Greenland and stuff like that. Could this be a thing for other NGOs just to implement, or what do they have to think about first if they have to implement this?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something we want to scale, actually, because it works. So the POC was successful. We have a lot of users. We have the whole concept working. So this is basically the aim with help of AWS, just to scale it, we can help like all the refugees in Europe actually, because it's communicating your language. So they can be easily integrated. They will not make these fails that they are actually not aiming to, but they make them. So it just makes your life easier, and the accessibility is fantastic. So that's why we think that it has a potential to grow through and will probably in some way change the way we come to bureaucracy.
But what about failures? I guess Victor is quite good, but it's still just an AI, and we are in the beginning of the AI. Where did it fail? It has to be
Absolutely
failing a lot, but and how did you manage to do that? Because I guess that the people on the other end knew that they were talking to AI Victor or something like that, or were that a thing as well?
It's very, very interesting because people, even though they know that they talk to AI, but they still act like people. And when they are not happy, they directly say that they are not happy with the service that's provided. And they still consider, like when they start talking, they could like understand that this is AI, but with a few sentences, questions, and not getting the answer, they just direct say, "You didn't answer it for me," and in some ways they still act as a human, like working with another human, and of course he fails. So even right now with like all these advanced technologies, there are still, for example, hard cases, like. For those cases, we created this escalation model that it directs to real human, because there are criminal cases. Unfortunately, there are different types of cases that AI cannot resolve right now, and it's not allowed to resolve them. So that's why we try not to like use those sensitive cases for Victor. The other side is psychology. Like people are traumatized, and they sometimes ask for help as a psychologist, even though it's still AI.
Yeah. Okay.
And unfortunately, Victor cannot answer. So we cannot even make him to do that, because the responsibility is like overwhelming, and it's not something that Victor can do.
Yeah, I actually have an example. I was one of the first testers, and so as soon as there was some beta version of Victor, so I was chatting with it, and sometimes it was giving some wrong answers. So one that I could remember, that it was spelling Danes in the wrong way, the way that many people say wrongly in Ukrainian. So it was Dachane instead of Danci. So I told Victor, you know what, you should actually say Danci instead, and he learned from it. So ever since then he was actually using the right word. So somewhere in the large language model, it was hitting this wrong word, but it keeps learning.
But it keeps learning, it keeps getting better. AI in general keeps on getting better. And you say we can't do, it's not a therapist you have to talk to, but I guess that somewhere, maybe sometime, you will see AI in the therapist world as a, equivalent to a human being somewhere. Will you think about, opening up that Victor could be some kind of therapist that can talk to, or is that a no-go thing for you to do?
It's a very good question. So, technically, it's possible, but it's still, whereas human should be human. So, when we take this emotional part, so, we should be human. Where, this is exactly the place where we need human. And AI can be very good in law, very good in regulation, very good in many, many things, but the sensitive things, I think, we still need a human.
So where do you see Victor going from, let's say 2 years from now? Where's the possibilities with Victor? Is is it much better at it work just, or is it something much more?
We hope it scales. It's gonna be around the Europe. It will help more people than just in Denmark. And this is probably our goal, because last year when we were here, it was like super small, and right now it's much bigger and it grows. And real Victor is super happy with the help that he gets from artificial Victor. And I think this is like this type of products are gonna change our like work with the public service, because this is more efficient. This is the way the human right now expect to receive answers. We are not patient anymore. We do not want to wait. We do not want to like someone to translate for us, because there are a lot of obstacles all around. But in this way, these public services can just evolve into something that is more accessible.
Yeah, I can just add that apart from being your assistant that you can talk to, it can also act. So one of the ways in this next 2 years could be that Victor actually act on your behalf. For example, if you need it, book a meeting with the commune, for example, or if you need it, send this document on your behalf, and so on and so forth. So really act it as an assistant that actually also acts and makes your life easier in so many ways.
He helps right now writing letters. He helps right now even to formulate what you want to ask to kommune, for example. So you just ask.
Can it? You talked about it a little bit, and that's not a part where you're going. But can I, if I wanted to something else, use it for, I don't know, hack, or make a letter that's, I don't know. I can't imagine something that's malice or something like that. But use Victor for not good things. Could I? I know you will say no, you can't do that. But we'll see a lot of cases right now with chat bots that I can hack and then I can talk to. I didn't know if you saw the Danish thing, Sydbank, where you could go on Sydbank's a bank's website's chatbot, and then you could ask it a lot of questions that had nothing to do about Sydbank. And I guess that was just funny. But again, at the moment where we see AI doing a lot more things, and then you're talking about the agents that can get into the kommune or something like that, could I maybe use it for something not good?
I would like ask you to try, but it's like totally guardrailed.
Yeah.
Guardrailed with all the constraints that probably are possible currently available on the market.
But can you really guardrail it? Is it possible to
Absolutely.
put it into enough sandbox that it can't get out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Like this is the thing. Like to make it work well and not to cage it. This is the whole concept of building this AI, like not to make it crippled, but just the one that can give you what you expect him to give. And from the other side, not to like super limited, but security, of course, is priority. And I think that right now with all the AWS possibilities that they give in this Bedrock guardrails, it's amazing the way it acts with personal data, with reading documents, with being GDPR compliant. So it is, in my way, like my way as a developer who did it, it's probably super hard to use it in the wrong way. Probably it's possible. I cannot even tell you the case how, when, and because it's constrained.
Yeah. I think I can just add that in my daily work, so I work with customers that use Amazon Bedrock, and that's exactly the same question that comes every time. Like, how do I ensure that no, let's say, bad actor can use my system that is using Amazon Bedrock? And that has been built in from day one in Amazon Bedrock, that the security is really priority number one, and all of these guardrails, they work equally for Bevar Ukraine as for any other customer.
All right. Thank you, guys. Looking forward to maybe trying Victor. Definitely seeing much more about Victor out there, and hopefully it will help a lot more people in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Og dig, kære lytter, tak fordi du er med. Vi lyttes med igen i næste uge på Genlyt.